shadows asleep amidst the trees. That's all a swaying in the breeze. But when the soul lies anxious, wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags and wraiths, for your dolly Polly sleep has flown. Don't dare let her tremble alone, for the witcher, heartless cold, paid in coin of gold. He comes, he'll go, leave naught behind but heartache and woe. Deep, deep woe. It's all silent for the night. Cows turned in as daylight dies. But when soullight launches wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags and wraiths, my dear darling.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Haunted Connection show. We're bringing this to you from the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Hinckley, Leicester, and we are sponsored by Sims Vintage Antiques in Wilton Warren near Stratford. So I hope you're all rejoicing a little bit with the news now that we're actually, hopefully got a map out of lockdown. So tonight we've got the lovely Barrie Ghai with us. Hi Barrie, big welcome.
Hi guys. How are you?
And of course we've got Neil as well.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking dead. Hi, how are you, Barrie?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually in bed right now. Look, there's my pillow.
Wow. It's not everyone can say they've had a chat with you in bed, can they? So anyway, tonight, Barrie, we talk this. The last time we had you on our show, we're just talking general, but now we changed it so it's a live topic show. So tonight's topic is the TV and the paranormal. So
Okay.
We're going to get your opinion on, the responsibility of the TV shows with the paranormal and that sort of thing. So
Yep.
Let's start it. So let's start, shall we? What do you do? If people don't know you, what TV shows have you done, and what's coming up?
I've done lots of different programs over the years. I think my first TV appearance as a paranormal investigator was, oh God, I've lost count. Maybe almost 15 years ago. But I'm best known for my part in the trio on Help My House is Haunted, which airs on Really Channel and Discovery Plus.
Yeah, and you've done 2 series so far, haven't you?
We have indeed, yeah. So series 1 and 2 are both available to watch on demand, and they get repeated quite regularly on the channel as well.
Yeah. So okay, we're going about the responsibility because excuse me. I do criticise quite a lot of TV shows with the paranormal, not yours,
Yeah.
obviously, because they but they seem to be over the top. And over the top demonic and all this sort of thing, and over the top kind of exaggerating activity. Do you think the TV shows do have a big responsibility?
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a controversial subject because, ultimately it's on television. It has to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And then there is a fine line between making a TV program and making it entertaining and sticking to the pure investigation element and sticking to your guns. So an example, Help My House is Haunted, we We are genuine investigators, and we do our jobs the way we would do them in any location, in any situation. And the difference with help and some of the other programs is we are there to genuinely help the spirits and genuinely help the people that are being affected by the haunting. But if you imagine that it takes approximately 3 days to film one episode, okay, that's how long it takes, right? On average, everything you see is condensed into a 42-minute program because you've got adverts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the best bits. You're seeing the bits that are entertaining, and the way it's been put together by the editor is going to make it look fantastic, isn't it? So you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. You know, as well as I do. You can go on a paranormal investigation and spend 6 or 7 hours and not get anything.
Yeah,
you'll get a knock or a change in temperature, or someone might see something from the corner of their eye. Well, on TV, it's bang, 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 bang every 2 seconds. Why? Because it's been put together that way. So you just have to be a realist. When you're watching a program, you have to understand that, yeah, it's great. The evidence is legitimate. It's fantastic. But we didn't get it all instantaneously. It took us hours and hours or 2 days to do that,
Yeah. Do you think some people, even now, don't seem to realise that? I know people who do paranormal investigation will know that. But do you think some of the general public still think, wow, that's what paranormal investigations are like?
Yeah, I guess so. Until they've been on a paranormal event, and they've been experienced spending a night in a cold castle somewhere. Imagine, I don't know, let's go to the ancient Ram Inn and spend 10 hours sitting there waiting for something to happen. Well, that's the case. You can go to the most haunted places, or allegedly most haunted places in the entire world, and you might get nothing. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's not haunted. It's the right time, the right environment, the right people, the right equipment, all of those kind of factors that you need to take into account. But we aren't going to just anyone's location. We're going to places that we've researched and clients have contacted to say they're experiencing this, and here's the evidence. Here's how it's affecting them. Here are people that can corroborate this. So we do all our due diligence and we do our checks, and then we go and do our investigation. So we know we have a plan already. That is something that a lot of paranormal investigators in the field don't do properly. They don't pre-plan anything. They just turn up with some kits that they spent thousands of pounds on and expect to get the best possible evidence. That's never going to happen if you don't do your research.
Yeah, that's very true. You got a question, Jane?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a lot of some of the experiences that you've had on Help My House is Haunted, and some of them been a bit scary. So how important is it as sort of a grown man to be able to scream and run away properly?
I'm probably best known for my the jumping and reacting in situations. And you know what? It's genuine. I'm not an actor, you know that. And if something scares me, I'm going to scream. If something jumps at me, I'm going to run away.
And that's one thing that you can really pick up from the series, the genuine reactions. And I think, when we see you and Jane, when you're sort of working together and you do see those genuine reactions, I think that does come across, really well as it being genuine.
It is. And, everything that happens is genuine. Now, what can I say? I can say, I've got to be very careful what I say right now. So I'm filming a new TV series.
Okay.
And it is paranormal investigations. I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you who's in it. Like at the moment. Everyone's guessed it anyway, but I'm not going to say it just because I'll lose my job. So what I've experienced in the last couple of months on investigations has been mind-blowing. Some of the things I've experienced I haven't done in 20 years. So it's great. I'm so looking forward to you all getting to see this. But more importantly, I'm working with brilliant people that I trust. and they understand how to do things, and we work well as a team. And it's so important that you trust the people you're working with, and it's so important that you can bounce off each other, and when somebody needs support in any an emotional level, physically, I don't know, psychically, whatever else you can think of. That all comes out on the program, and it's important that people recognize that in order to make a good TV program, you need to work well with the team you're working with. You do. It's like
the TV producers and things are more open-minded now, because we are. I mean, that across the paranormal, there's all sorts of things. In the last series, we saw you experiencing fairies and the fae, your encounter with the fae. Do you think now that the TV shows and programs are more open-minded to that, and people are more open-minded to that? Because there used to be all sorts of restrictions on things that you couldn't show, and even things like some of the mediumship you couldn't show. And do you think now that it is more open-minded?
Yeah, I agree. It's let me think. So 9 p.m. is the watershed. So on British television, you can, after 9 p.m, you can show certain things that they would restrict before that. Okay, so all the adult content. And this new series will be post watershed. So it kind of has a no rules barred kind of attitude. We do what we do, we get what we get, and it's up to the network to decide whether or not it is the right and most appropriate thing to put on television.
Yeah.
What you said about the restrictions and the change in perception is correct. I think that certain programs like Help My House is Haunted have helped to change the perception of the world of the paranormal, and introduced elements like the fae, or or some of the demonic side of things that we did encounter. But it's helped to highlight them and do it properly, genuinely, with the naivety that comes with not having experienced certain things in my lifetime. And that's important, because I'm not an expert in everything. I've experienced lots of different things, but I can't claim to be an expert in all areas of the paranormal, and I would never do that. So it's important that when you watch on television, you understand that we are going to ask questions, and we're going to have to do our research, and we're going to have to ask other people in the field who know more about the subject than we do, in order to further that part of the investigation.
I do like, I'm not just saying it because I'm talking to you, Barry, because we've had loads of conversations anyway. I do like it, and I've said this to the people as well, I like it when it's genuine, your genuine reactions. That, because I can remember watching you live at our centre. Can you remember when the table moved?
Yeah, and it blew me away. I was like, whoa!
That was such a genuine reaction. And I like it when people do that. And not everyone shows that on the shows, which is a bit disappointing.
Look, I'm very conscious that I try not to overreact, okay? But I'm just being myself. You watch different programs and you see different people and the way they respond and react. And sometimes it's a little bit OTT, but you have to understand what that person's like. If something genuinely scares me, I get scared. If something amazes me, then that's just the way it is. I'm going to be like, mind blown, boom. And it's important to speak articulately and clearly, and give the audience, that's anyone watching that program, and tell them what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what you're seeing, what you're doing, and why. And if you stick to those things, you can't go wrong. That's not acting, that's just making sure that you're conscious of what's happening.
That's brilliant. Do you know Mark Williams?
I lost you temporarily.
Do you know Mark Williams?
You might have to say that again, guys.
Do you know Mark Williams? Because Mark says spiders and clowns.
Yeah, there you go. Mark knows me better than anyone, so he's on my team as the Ghost Finder Paranormal Society. And Mark knows that I hate spiders and I hate clowns. In fact, I hate anything creepy and crawly. And when I get to, hey, you go and investigate the attic or the cellar or that little hole in the ground. Well, I know that there's going to be creepy things in there, and they're going to make me jump. My worst nightmare imaginable would be like a giant spider clown. That would be the worst thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm with you there. Okay, let's put a comment up. And it says, Barry, how do you feel the first time Chris had a walk-in? Did it scare you, or were you prepared for it to happen?
Matt, you're never prepared for things like that. And to be honest with you, because the first time I worked with Chris was season 1 of Help. First time I saw him channeling a spirit or going trance mediumship or just a walk-in. Wow. I was like, oh my God, is he okay? And I even went over to him and like touched him and like, are you okay? You're not dead, are you? Do you need an ambulance? You know, it was just the weirdest experience, but you get used to it after a while. But I don't think it ever prepares you for seeing it happen again, because every time is different and every experience is different. So sometimes you have to be a bit more on guard, you know?
Yeah. Do you and Barry and Jane on Help My House is Haunted discuss this sort of thing? You know, if Chris is sort of channeling, do you agree beforehand how far to let him go before someone steps in?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I think we do have to use a bit of our own judgment. And you kind of, when you get to know someone a bit better, you tend to find out how far they are willing to go, and perhaps whether or not they look like they're in distress. And when you make that judgment call, because again, like I said, you're making a TV program, so you want the content. But they're fickle. I may have lost you temporarily. Oh,
yeah, you did. Say that again, Barry.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying you don't want to do anything. I was saying that, looking after Chris, for example, if he has a walk-in or he's experiencing some channeling, you don't want to leave it too far that it's going to affect him physically, mentally, or an emotional level to the point where he can't cope.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's put this comment up. I think you know this lady.
Yeah.
Lovely Jane says spiders.
Mrs. Harris. There'll be one in your bedroom, I'm sure.
Okay, let's put this comment up from Daryl. Daryl says, hi all, can we expect season 3 of Help anytime soon?
How can I put that? I can say you can expect to watch a really good paranormal TV program that I can't name right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very diplomatically put. I'm impressed with that.
I don't know how else to put it. I've been away from home. I'm filming a TV program. Use your judgment.
Yeah, that's fine. And we're actually talking. I don't know if you saw the start of the show. We're actually chatting to Barry, and Barry's in bed. We should have called. We should have called the show In Bed with Barry, shouldn't we?
Oh. Yeah, it's a nice little.
And the internet is not very good at the hotel, by the looks of it. Okay.
No, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Rose says, has there ever been a case that you and the team couldn't do? Yeah, you're back. Has there ever been a case that you and the team couldn't do anything to help?
So I think I heard, has there ever been a case that you and the team couldn't do anything to help? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm reading it now. That team couldn't do anything to help. Oh, good question, Rose. So far, the answer is no. The answer is that we've helped everybody. But there are cases where we still need to do more. Or, potentially we've left things and we could have done more, given more time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's always been help and there's always been resolution.
Yeah. I think he's in and out. Okay, that's Mark says until we get Barry back, Mark says make sure he does not fall asleep, as he can do that.
Oh, bless him.
Are you gone, Barry? You're gone. We'll just chat until he comes back, Jane.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on the TV, Jane? And the paranormal?
I have been following the Help My House is Haunted, and I do like it. I do like the different houses that they've been to. I do like the different scenarios and the different things that they've found. I'm hoping, and this is going to be one of my sort of questions to Barry, I'm hoping that they will show more and more different sort of aspects across sort of the paranormal realm, if you like, rather than the human spirit side. Like they included the Fae last time. If they encounter, it'd be nice if all the things that they encounter, however unusual, if that's included.
I'm just watching the picture of Barry. We will try and get Barry back. He's gone.
He's gone.
Perhaps he's going to try and join in again. Rick actually says, Barry, what was your favourite part of Neil's centre? I think Barry will say, I'll ask him if he comes back on. I think he'll say in the sounds room, we actually caught on camera, the Haunted Live guys caught on camera, the sounds table actually moving on its own, and they all had their hands off it.
Yeah, Barry was also in the wheelchair, wasn't he? In the wheelchair moved.
Yeah. So he had quite a few experiences at the centre, and also he caught some EVPs as well.
I'm back.
You're back.
Hey.
Literally, the Wi-Fi just turned itself off. Like, I don't even know where the router is in this place.
No matter. We'll carry on anyway, Barry. We'll keep persevere. Okay, next question. Rick says, Barry, what was your favourite part of Neil's centre?
My favourite part was the oh God, let's call it now, the seance room right at the back.
Yeah.
And the kind of, well, actually, yeah. So the seance room right at the back, and also the stairs leading down to that other little room.
Yeah.
Your stairs there.
Yeah, the back stairs.
It was on the stairs that I heard a DVP and recorded it with the Haunted Magazine boys, and we, it was a great experience. There was definitely an energy there that we could sense and we could audibly hear and record at the same time. But it was in that seance room at the back there where that table moved on its own, and none of us did it. And I was shocked to shit. I was like, hang on a minute, what the hell just happened there?
Yeah, that was cool. What about the wheelchair as well, Barry?
Oh yeah, that moved as well. In fact, like all your place, the doll. There was like a ventriloquist dummy doll.
Yeah.
And I used a kind of portal device.
Yeah.
And it gave me his name and everything. It was brilliant. I think he called himself Paul.
That's right. Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah.
And of course,
cool.
we you know the office below me when last time you came. We've actually got that now.
Awesome.
So we've got the whole building. So as soon as you're free, mate, you're welcome to come back.
I will gladly come back. Thank you, Neil.
Okay. Chris says, hi, Barry. Do you and your team do any type of protection before filming?
Good question, Chris. Everybody does their own thing. It depends on your own beliefs. And I guess for me, I wear protective jewelry that my wife makes. Black salt pendants. I've got black obsidian bracelet. I've got a Saint Michael Archangel pendant. I do my own thing. I've got lots of different oils and sprays and stuff, and I feel protected only because it's about the intent. Intent is the most important thing, and when you believe personally that you're protected, it makes all the difference, because psychologically you change your energy flow, you change your chi, your chakras, and that emits a different aura, an aura of confidence, an aura of protection, and you feel, you know, you can call upon your spirit guides, and I do that in my head. I just ask my spirit guides to protect me and keep me safe from harm. It works, you know. Most
definitely.
of the time.
Okay, Lee says, "Help My House is Haunted got me into the paranormal world, thanks to Barrie."
Well, Lee's an awesome man. Lee's a good guy, and he works extremely hard. His interest in the paranormal has developed and grown. You know, he records, he shoots, and I'm glad. I mean, he's a great guy, and I know it's inspired other people as well, and hopefully it'll continue to inspire people as well.
Yeah. Okay. Ablos says, "Love Help My House is Haunted."
Oh, bless you. It is a great program. You know, it's a pleasure to work on something like this, because you get the opportunity to travel and see different places. You know, places I've never been to before. And the United Kingdom, although it's not big, there's still some hidden gems in this place.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I get to meet some awesome people as well.
Do you have a choice of the houses where you go to, or is there sort of a selection where you think, well, that sounds perhaps the worst one, let's go there, or is it like, you know, well, we've not encountered that before, let's go there? Do you have any decisions in where you go when you sort of doing these films, the filming?
So during the pre-production stage, the research team are looking for cases. And normally there's a bit of a call out on social media asking if people are experiencing a haunting, do they need help, blah, blah, blah. Myself and the rest of the team, obviously not the psychic, would get the opportunity to vet them and look into them and discuss with the series producer and have a good chat about these cases before we even embark on them, because it's all to do with, well, it has to have certain elements. To be a Help My House is Haunted case, there has to be elements. I mean, I'm not going to go into them all, but it makes sense, doesn't it? It has to have the history, the narrative, the help, the affected, the connected. All of these things have to be part of the mix in order to make a good program, but in order for it to be worthwhile us investigating and doing our job.
Yep. Okay, let's put Caroline's comment. Caroline says, "I'm glad you've been able to clear all houses. Our team is currently stuck with one house, and we've got the SPR in 4 times to clear it, and it's still active."
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, perhaps you can't help everyone, but it's important and it's vital to know what it is you're dealing with first.
Yeah.
You know, as human beings, we're quite early on into this whole field of study, and relatively, and we don't know the answers to everything. Now, the more investigations you do, and the more cases you do personally, the more knowledge you learn, and the more you kind of gain an insight into what type of creatures, elementals, energies, spirits, intelligent, residual, poltergeist, whatever. You get an understanding and you learn more. Now, I learned something today, this morning. I learned more about elemental energies, low-level entities, earth spirits, things that don't necessarily get conjured, but things that are released.
Yeah.
And I can't go into too much more detail than that, but that's now got me thinking more about those kinds of entities. And I know other people that have experienced these things, and I'm thinking, well, I now have kind of a source, an idea of how they come about, where they come from, and what type of interaction, and also how to help them. Because all spiritual beings, including human beings, need help. And it's learning how to help and what our need is first.
Yeah. Okay, let's put this comment up. Jane says, "Barrie, who is your co-presenter?" Oh, no, sorry. Who is your favourite co-presenter?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be that guy off the TV, Barrie Ghai. You know him; he's great. I love him. He's so funny.
What about the co-presenter though, Barrie?
Well, I can't pick, but if I have to say, it's going to have to be Jane because I'm likely to get told off. Stop it.
Behave, Jane. Come on. Andy says, did you ever actually find out what touched you in the loft at the house where the flies appeared on the wall?
Yeah, that was the Tivertshire Murder House, if I remember, in Norfolk, and that's the name of the show, Tivertshire Murder House. But it's just, yeah, I know the people who own the place and everything. I didn't get to identify what it was, but my instinct, based on what we uncovered, would suggest that it was imp or imps. And yeah, I got scratched in the back of that episode as well, remember.
Yeah. Okay, a comment from Colette. Colette says, Barry, why did Chris always say imps? Imps, to me, are blocks of a substance that people in the 50s and 60s used to put up their chimneys to unblock their chimney. But I still love Help My House is Haunted. I hope there is a new series.
Well, Colette, listen, an imp is not a term that we just made up, and an imp is not a term that Chris made up. An imp is considered to be like a gargoyle, like a little goblin. Essentially, it's an elemental creature as well. It's an earth spirit, and in a more religious context, you would say that they are the demon's little doers. Okay, if you have that,
I like that.
I've just made it up. In fact, we can patent that one. The demon's little doers. New imp. Hashtag imp. If you think you can't blame activity like that on imps all the time, but I have now experienced them, and we all have, and they don't pop up in every single location we go to. There are human spirits, There's not just imps. There's you have a lot of residual energy in places of history, and especially in the locations that we've been to recently, multi-layered history, and you've got so many different spirits that leave their energy imprint there. But when you have those intelligent hauntings, it's very hard to decipher who you're speaking with or who you're dealing with when you've got a spirit box in your hand, because you don't know who it is until they give you a name. And to get a name is a rare thing. But interestingly, in the episode we just completed, we got names, we got validation, and that really does help to kind of put the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together.
Brilliant. Okay, Sherry says, Barry, have you had experiences with haunted toy clowns?
You see my face? No, the answer is no, and I don't want to. There are haunted toy clowns in the Haunted Antique Centre, and if you notice, I never touch them or pick them up. I just ignore them and hope they don't move when I'm there. I've never been to the Clown Motel. The only other haunted clown that I've ever been remotely near would have been at Zach's Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. Where he's got a room full of clowns, and yet Zach is also terrified of clowns. Why you would own a room full of haunted clowns, I don't know, but that's it. That's as close as I'm going to get to one.
With the vision coming to my head just then, the Chamber of Fear, the little room at the my centre, which we call the Chamber of Fear. I think when you come up, as if I'd do that to you, Barry. Come on.
Yeah.
So you're going to trial it then, Neil, with Hannah?
No. We'll change the subject. Okay, Adam says, Barry, are you going back to Rougham Airfield in Bury St Edmunds when lockdown ends? I'm up for another challenge after the last one. I survived 45 minutes.
He did. Adam won a competition that I was running on Facebook, I think it was, and he got some tickets to come join, and I used him as bait. And he was very good. He survived. Yeah, we will be going back as soon as possible. We did have it booked for March, but I think that's a bit too soon. So a couple of months down the line, and we'll be going back to Rougham.
Yeah, let's. Okay, Von says, Oh, hi, Barry. If you were affected by spirit or whatever, how would you deal with it straight away to protect yourself?
It's difficult when you are affected by spirit to actually use common sense sometimes and to make those judgment calls. So that's why you need a strong team around you who can recognize the signs that you might be being overcome, being oppressed, or in a walk-in situation. So to protect yourself, there are ways to do it, and you kind of have to just have a lot of conviction, strength of personality to basically prevent that from happening. It does happen to me. In fact, maybe 3 or 4 times in 15 years or so, and it's quite scary when you don't have control, because they can zap you with your energy. They can make you feel sick. They can cause you to think thoughts and do things that you wouldn't normally do. But most of the time, they're not there to actually harm you. They're there to project their conscious thoughts and feelings and emotions on you, so you can help them.
Yeah. Okay. Jane's not got another comment for you. She got a question. Jane says, which location is the top of your paranormal bucket list?
Which location? Do you know what it is? It's Alcatraz.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, actually.
Yeah, I want to go and spend some time in there, not alone, but I'll go to Alcatraz. Yeah, there's a few. Most of them are in the United States, like Eastern State Penitentiary. Never been there yet, and Alcatraz. But there are places across the entire world. I mean, there's some really cool places in Australia. And you've got locations in the Far East that are truly terrifying when you read between the lines of the kind of history and the cultural scariness about it. Oh, wow, those places they are the places that we don't know enough about. So whatever you don't know enough about will scare you more.
What I would like to see, something I would like to see, I'd like to get you and Jane up to the centre one night, and if Chris is in the UK, Chris as well. That would be quite cool.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
The invitation is out to you, because you've been to the centre a few times now, Barry. Jane's never been yet.
She hasn't. But if you ask nicely, if I call out to the ether and I say, Jane Harris, not
She's
once
there.
for yes, not once for yes, twice for no. Will you come to the Haunted Antique Centre? I didn't hear anything.
No. I was expecting to pop her head round the corner then.
No, she's not in my room.
Caroline says, would you ever be brave enough to open a Dibber box?
It froze again. Would you ever be brave enough to open a Dibber box? Can you hear me? All right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I've touched the Dibber box from Zach's museum. And I've seen another one, but I've never opened one. But remember this: there's so many people out there that claim that's a Dibber box that's 600 years old or whatever, and it's got a Dibber in it. No, it bloody hasn't. Most of them you find on eBay, Amazon boxes, covered in wax. Come on. To find a real Dibber box that has a demon inside is going to be a rare thing indeed.
Yeah.
But you're only going to know that if you open it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give me a Dibber box, I'll open it live.
Yeah. Jane says, knock.
So she's coming.
Then Adam says, Jane, who's there? We know Adam. Adam is a good friend of ours. Okay, Georges says, have you ever done anything you regret under spirit influence?
Under spirit influence? No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So in sort of all the episodes that you've done, the ones that I've seen, nearly everything is, well, from what I can, everything is sort of moved on, isn't it? You know, the sort of the prayers for the dead and everything is sort of moved on. Is that how it sort of wants to be portrayed on TV? That all the spirits are cleared and that the house is now safe. Is it the policy to sort of move everything on?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think. Sorry, I mean, you broke up a little bit on that last part of the question. Did you say moving things on in terms of health?
Spirit.
Yeah, but remember that's down to us. If we feel we can help the spirits, or the spirits have asked for help, then we will 100% do that. Where the owner of the property might not want all the spirits gone, then we have to abide by their wishes, don't we? I'll give you an example. Someone might say, my house is haunted by multiple spirits. There is something here that's very negative that I'm scared of and that affects me or hurts me. And but I don't want to get rid of all of those spirits that are here that I don't feel have any malice or anything. So our job would be to help resolve the case by getting rid of whatever is affecting them on a negative level and allowing those other spirits to be more harmonious in the environment. That's entirely up to the person who lives there. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Karen says, Chris Fleming did a ghost hunting program in the USA with Gail Porter, which I used to watch. Did you watch it, Barry?
I did, yeah. And Dead Famous it was, and Gail's great, and those programs were brilliant. And they should seriously bring that back because it was so good. It was excellent. Yeah, Jane, absolutely 100%. Dead Famous was one of those programs where you kind of really got into it, and you know there was some of the evidence was absolutely compelling. You know, really was. And Chris used to talk about that all the time. Some of those cases, some of the evidence, the gunshots he heard in Tombstone. You know, seeing Al Capone's ghost, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, let's put this comment up. Chris says, "Hi Barry, do you have a location which when you visited, you felt was the most ominous or oppressive place you'd been to?"
Location that you visited that you felt most ominous, oppressive place. There's quite a few of those types of places. I think 39 De Grey Street, really didn't like it there. The energy in that place affected me on a massive scale, and it was quite traumatic because I took away something from there as well. You know, whether it was a spirit attachment or it was just this energy shift in me, but it did change things, and it's a place I am going to go back to. I said I would never, but I am going to go back to it, and I'm going to go face my demons there. And it's a scary place. A lot of people say no, but nothing happened. Well, each to their own. It's that place affected me, whereas someone might say that the ancient Ramin is they'd never go there. But I've been there several times. I've slept there overnight on my own, and it's scary, yeah, but I didn't have the same effect.
Yeah,
there are lots of places with that ominous kind of thing, and most of them aren't the most notoriously famous haunted places. Most of them are people's houses. You know.
Do you think though, if you go to a location and you do get affected like you did at De Grey Street, you've got to go back to get some closure to it?
Yeah, I said I would never go back there.
Yeah, I remember.
Until recently, and I decided I'm going to do it at some stage. You know, maybe not next week, maybe not this year, but I will do it very soon. And I spoke to Andy and we have discussed it. And I was going to do a paranormal event for public on night one, and then night two I was going to spend the night alone there and stream my experience live.
Cool. Look forward to seeing that one.
Watch me running around school.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'd be though, Barry. I admit it. I'm the biggest wimp in the world. People have said spend 12 hours up my centre on my own. You know, place I own. I wouldn't spend 12 hours up there on my own. There's no chance.
What? At a haunted antique centre? Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Have you ever slept there on your own?
No.
You never.
No one has
No,
actually
no.
spent the whole night there, have they?
No.
The place is a completely different monster when you're completely on your own. This isn't with somebody in the base room or, you know, one of your friends sort of in the tea room. When you're completely on your own, it is a completely different monster.
But which room would you spend? Would you not want to spend all your time in?
At the minute, the sounds room.
Sounds room.
Yeah, the room at the back. It's been a while since you've been back, and it's changed.
What have you done that's different in there?
Oh, I can't say that. That's top secret.
Oh, well, no one's been in there yet.
No, people have investigated, but no one has spent the whole night walking through the different rooms. One guy tried to, but he didn't. He couldn't do it. So I think that might be a challenge for you, Barry.
Yeah, he's tried and he's failed, has he? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's another one of those paranormal challenges, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was almost like the building turned on him. About 11 o'clock at night, wasn't it? It was almost like the building turned on him, and he ended up being quite scared. He didn't move from the tea room, did he, all night?
That's right.
It's very important.
Anyway, let's move on. Michelle says, have you ever used the Esters method? If so, what do you think of it?
That's the SB7, desensitization method, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's we have. We've done it. I've done it before. We did it on series 2 of Help My House is Haunted with Jane and I. And you can vary that up and change it up a bit. You know, you can do it via Bluetooth and a phone connection as well, and have multiple. You know, you can have multiple subjects as opposed to just one, and try and change it up a little bit. And I think we've thrown in the mix in what we're currently working on now, similar methods. So it's important to vary these things. But I think it works great. It works great depending on the situation and the person that you're doing it with.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's put Wendy's comment up. Wendy says, when you encounter child spirits, do you feel obligated to help them before you leave?
Yeah, Wendy, that's me all over. For me, I get personally affected by the spirits of children, you know, in any location. And if there's a child, for example, that's living, that is experiencing the haunting, you feel obligated to help them as a family. But when it's a child spirit, okay, an example being Emily at Uncle Tom's cabin. That little girl ghost was seen, captured, and photographed on the stairs, and she just wanted to play. She just wanted to be reunited with her family, and was unsure of what she was doing, why she was there, who she was. You can't even comprehend what it would be like to die and be left as a conscious energy in a different realm. And I think it's just sad, isn't it? You all need your family with you. So when there's a child, I think anyone would react the same way. I just feel like, there's a child involved, a child spirit, or a child, human living, then we do have that obligation to help them.
Yep, definitely. Okay, Wendy says, it's a different Wendy. Wendy says, I love the big old house one with a real English gent who was such a character.
Yeah, that's Fulford Manor. I remember that. That's a great episode. I love that place. It was spooky as hell, right? And I saw a ghost. I genuinely saw something upstairs. So I walked up the stairs, I remember, and I think we had cams on the stairs, but they were, I don't know, they weren't, one of them wasn't facing in the direction of that particular room. It was like a ballroom or former ballroom. And when I looked into the dark of that corridor, I just saw what looked like a white dress, no head, just a dress, glide past and disappear. And I absolutely shit myself. Because I wasn't expecting it at all. So I tried to run down the stairs, but Adrian reminded me recently. He was the director of photography on there. He reminded me recently when I ran down, I was going. That's because I didn't want to scream and make a scene, but I also wanted to get so quickly, and the stairs were really shallow. So every time I took a step, I didn't make much difference or distance between the last. It's hilarious. The stairs were massive. Yeah.
Brilliant.
What would be your ultimate sort of thing to catch on camera? You know, while you were filming, doing your investigation, what would be the most prized thing that you could capture on while the cameras were rolling?
Michael Jackson in HD dancing the moonwalk. Well, okay,
you don't want a lot, do you?
Think about it. We've all seen things, you know, in this game. You see things, you experience things. I record amazing EVPs, and each time I do it and I get a new one, I'm still blown away. You know, full sentence or a name or something. I mean, Jane can verify that. You know, we've got something recently together that was like, oh my God, how is that even possible? I think when it comes to seeing things, seeing is believing, and taking a photograph is one thing, but when you get a video of a full-bodied apparition manifest or walk into a room and walk through a wall, and you just know that it's genuine or whatever, I mean, they can't beat that. The ultimate bit of evidence is getting something on video in clear crystal quality without the whole pixelization nonsense, with audio and a really good story that explains exactly how it was captured on multiple cameras. That would even be better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want a lot.
Okay. No, you're a bit greedy there, Barry. Caroline says, "Oh, I think the gauntlet has been set."
The gauntlet in what? Spending time
as you spending the night at the centre.
Yeah, all right, I'll do it for the charity.
There you go. You heard it. Andy says, Barry, would you ever be brave enough to investigate such items as the Annabelle doll, the Devil's Rocking Chair in Vegas, or even locations such as Ed and Lorraine Warren's house?
Yes, I would. All of those, absolutely 100%. It's not. You see, I would say that everybody gets scared and they're going to go and investigate, and everyone's going to get scared going to some famously haunted location and stuff. But it's how you respond to that fear and what your objective is. If you're going there to be scared, then you're going to get scared. But if you're going there and you think, I have an objective in mind, for example, if I was going to go to the Amityville Horror House, if it was, you know, that we were allowed in, I would spend time in each of the rooms seeing if I can communicate with any of the spirits here to find out their story, to see if it's true, if it's fake or not, you know, all these kinds of things. If it was Annabelle, I'd pick her up and I would hold her hand and I would talk to her and I'd get a spirit box out, and then I would say, now, if I die, I want everybody to know that I handled you and this is all real, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Wendy says, I love the fact you help spirit move on.
You know, a lot of people do, and I think that's what separates Help My House is Haunted from some of the other programs. You know, we investigate, help the spirits, and we help the owners, the clients. You know, if you don't help the spirits, or you don't believe you're helping them, you're not going to get any closure yourself. You can't resolve the case for yourself because there's always that piece missing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
When I've heard spirits come through on the spirit box saying, help me, and then when you do help them, and, you know, you do your own seance, you do a meditation, a visualization or a prayer, whatever you do that works, it's about intent, remember?
Yeah,
and the spirit box says, thank you, and peace and love. Well, can't ask for more than that.
What more can you ask for? Yeah, definitely. Okay, Kay says, apologise if already asked, I got on late. What is the most emotional experience you've personally had?
It's a difficult question. I mean, the one that stands out again was at 39 De Grey Street. It affected me emotionally. I cried on camera. I know that the camera caught me looking emotional, but I did. I kind of sobbed like a baby, you know. There's been a few locations, and I know that Jane would agree that we've all welled up, you know, because the emotions of helping spirits cross at the end, resolving and hearing things like thank you, or Gabriel, angels, you know, lights, love, whatever, or you almost feel like you're reuniting a child with their parent. Those kinds of things make you emotional. So, you know, I think I get emotional in pretty much every case, but not that you're gonna on TV. You know, I'm not going to be crying like a baby all the time. I'm meant to be the hard man wearing a tech cap, and all you get to see me is crying and running around screaming and jumping out of, you know, holes and stuff. So no, we're all human after all.
Yeah, I like that because you're just a normal bloke, ain't you?
Yep.
Yeah. But the first time I met you, when you came to the Centre for the Haunted Live guys, afterwards, I says it's just a normal, regular guy who you can sit and have a chat with.
I am. There's nothing different. Being on television doesn't make you anything that you're not. You know, I'm a family man. I've got my family. I've got my 7 kids. I work hard. I enjoy my job, and luckily I get paid to do it. So you can't ask more. You know.
Okay, the last couple of comments. Caroline says, "Have you been somewhere and you think the activity is fake?"
Yes, Caroline, but I cannot tell you where. No, there are some cases you go to and people would have exaggerated what's happened to them, or they've made up stuff because they just want to get people around their house and investigate it and just make a big deal of something that's nothing. Or I've been to locations where publicly where people have manipulated evidence and faked things because they want you to go, oh my God, that's amazing, come back, pay me more money to come back there. There are places like that, I'm afraid, and you just have to keep your wits about you, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Sherry says, Barry, did anything happen paranormal happen before the cameras went on?
Yes, you guys. So most of the time things happen before the cameras are turned on. It happened recently. You know, someone gets touched, or or there's a knock or a noise, or things like that, and the cameras aren't rolling. You know, things that just for a lot of these things. But am I still there?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, you're back.
I'm back. There are logical explanations for a lot of things that do happen, but we, you know, my team and myself, we have all experienced paranormal things before the cameras are rolling. In fact, crew also. I mean, our director of photography he's only ever experienced like one thing in 3 years paranormal, where he was physically touched by something unseen. Well, that happened to him recently again. And he freaked out.
Brilliant.
And that's good, but that was on camera this time.
Brilliant. Unfortunately, there's a few more questions. We've ran out of time. It's 10 o'clock. That hour's gone so quick.
Yeah.
It has.
So I want to thank everyone for watching. I will talk to Barry over the coming weeks about this possible charity event with Barry staying at the centre on his own overnight. We'll discuss that.
All right.
We might have, if you do, we might have some surprises for you.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Barry and Jane will come and investigate the centre sometime in the future. So it's fantastic talking to you again, Barry. It's always a good laugh chatting to you.
That's my pleasure. Thank you.
It's actually strange not chatting to you when you're sitting in your car. Because you normally have to sit in your car to get some peace, don't you? So,
go on.
So thanks everyone, and we'll Jane and I will see you next week, and we will see Barry again soon, no doubt. So thanks, Barry.
We'll
take care,
talk to you again soon.
Bye for now.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.